In today's video, we're doing all new Dollar Tree DIYs. Let me show you how to make your own candle holders with DIY materials. So the first thing you're going to need are some legs that you would use on a table or chairs. You can pick these up at a lot of stores. I got mine at Lowe's. So I bought a smaller one and two larger ones. With one of the larger ones, I did cut it down a bit so that it would be a 3-tier candle holder. Now, one of the things you have to do with these table legs is remove the screws that come in them. We're not going to be using these screws. You're also going to need some sort of base. These bases I picked up at Hobby Lobby. You can get them when they're on sale and they come in a 2-pack. Next, we're going to use E6000 to put the table legs onto the bases. You want to let this dry, and then you're going to put the E6000 on the top pieces and place those on top. Your candle holders are essentially formed. The next thing you're going to do is paint these. And anytime I'm painting something that kind of has a rough texture or edge to it, I like to use one of those round stippling brushes. I will link to some of my favorites down below. And I'm also going to be painting these the color Black Magic by Sherwin-Williams. I'll just add that paint onto my candle holders. Now, you may run into a situation like I did where I didn't let the E6000 dry overnight, so one of my bases came off. That was fine. I figured I would just paint them separately and then at the end I'll glue them back together. So you want to do 2 coats on each of your candle holders. Let that dry, and then you can add E6000 back onto the base and style these in your home. I'm going to be using some of my favorite candles. These are by the brand Melt, and I will link those for you as well. I wanted to share a game I've been loving lately, Angry Birds Dream Blast. And a huge thanks to Angry Birds for sponsoring today's video. If you're looking for a fun way to unwind after a busy day, this is the game for you. It's super relaxing and easy to dive into. There's no pressure, just pure fun as you clear colorful bubbles and solve puzzles. What's cool about Angry Birds Dream Blast is the bubbles fall freely instead of being stuck in a grid. Each level has its own unique challenges, like freeing eggs or reaching high scores. Some levels throw in obstacles like ice or ropes to keep it more interesting. Here's one of my tips for winning. Try to plan your moves and pop larger groups of bubbles for bigger rewards. With thousands of levels and tons of different themes, I'm always finding something new to keep me hooked. And did I mention, you don't have to watch ads during the game, just pure fun. To get Angry Birds Dream Blast, you can scan the QR code right here on the screen, or I'll put a link for you down in the description box below. If you're up for some fun, check out Angry Birds Dream Blast. Let's put together a gorgeous spring wreath. And now my inspo for this was to use some tulips. So I found these tulips at Hobby Lobby. I'm gonna be using a wreath base from Dollar Tree. And then my other stems are from Dollar Tree as well. I have a lot of like eucalyptus stems, just some nice greenery pieces. And then I also have these lavender pieces that they have out right now at Dollar Tree. So the way I like to add stems to my wreath is with zip ties. I find that zip ties work the best. You don't have to sit there and hold the glue forever. So I'm gonna start with a few eucalyptus stems, put those together, and then I will put them on with a zip tie. Next, I'm going to add in a lavender piece. Now, I only had 3 lavender pieces, so I had to kind of make sure that I was putting those around so that they were kind of at equal distances. I'll add that on with the zip tie. From there, I wanted to figure out my tulip pieces. So I think that I want my tulip pieces to be in a bundle of 3. So I'm going to put 3 together and zip tie those on. And then I'll add on some more greenery pieces. So that pattern that I just did, I'm going to repeat that all the way around, adding in greenery, my lavender piece, my tulips, and a little bit more greenery. If you need to add hot glue to the back, you can do that as well. Now, once I have all of the pieces on, what I like to do is I like to hang it up so I can see what it will look like when it's on the wall. And from there, I realized I needed to add in a lot more tulips. So I'm just going to add in any tulips. If I need any more greenery, I will do that as well. Now, after you get all your pieces on, you want to make sure everything is as secure as possible. You may see some more openings where you need to add in some more greenery pieces or different items. But here's how this wreath turned out. When I saw this tray on Pottery Barn's website, I knew that we could recreate this. Usually at Dollar Tree, they will have some wood trays. When we went this time, we weren't able to find them, but a lot of times you can. I had to get my tray at Hobby Lobby. So I found this wood tray. Hobby Lobby usually has some different trays out fairly inexpensively. I was going to make it look as much like that Pottery Barn tray as I could. So I started with a pretty blue color and I painted that on the inside of this tray, doing 2 coats. And I was careful to not put it around the edge. Once the blue dried, I came back in with a white color and added that to the sides of the tray as well as that top edge. Now with this tray, you're probably gonna have to do 2 coats of paint for the blue and the white. Now let that dry completely. Another thing you want to pick up at Dollar Tree are these paper doilies. I thought those would look perfect sitting in this tray. So I put the doilies into the tray and kind of creased them to see, how they would lay in there, because on the Pottery Barn one, there's doilies on either side. Then I roughly cut it out and then placed it back in. From there, I just cut a little bit more so that I could get it as close to the edge as possible. Now, the cool thing about these doilies is they're all stuck together. So I actually had 2 or 3 of the doilies that I was cutting at the same time. So I pulled one of those out and placed it on the other side. To attach these to your tray, you're going to add a layer of Mod Podge on the bottom of your entire tray. Place the doilies on top, and then you can add another layer of Mod Podge over the top. I think this tray looks great, and I think it turned out as a great dupe. Have you wanted to order a canvas print of your family, but you're like, those are really expensive? Let me show you how you can make your own canvas. So the first thing you want to do is get a canvas. These are very inexpensive. You can get them at Dollar Tree, Hobby Lobby. Next, you need to print a poster size print. I usually get my prints at Walgreens. So I went on their website and got a 16 by 20 poster print because you want it to be bigger than your canvas. It needs to be able to fold over the sides. Now, Walgreens usually has some good deals. So normally this poster print is around $20. I had a 40% off coupon, so I got it for $12. Sometimes you can get even better deals there. So I printed off a print of my family from over the summer. Next, I'm going to start DIYing this. So I'll lay my print out and I'm going to be using Mod Podge. I'm going to paint Mod Podge over the entire top part of my canvas. Next, I'm going to place on my print. You want to center your print on so it looks exactly like you would like it to look on your canvas. Next, flip it over and then you're just going to smooth it out to make sure your print is completely connected to that canvas. From here, you're going to let this dry. You're not going to touch it until at least the next day. The next day, we're going to come in and worry about doing the sides. So you're going to paint Mod Podge on the sides of your canvas. Next, you're going to bring up one of the sides and give it a crease and kind of fold it. Don't be afraid of it. And then you're going to wrap it around the back. If there's any excess, you can cut that off. And then using duct tape, you are going to duct tape the canvas in place so it holds very strongly. Don't worry, you're not going to be able to see this on the other side. And then do that to the opposite side. Add Mod Podge, crease it, fold it down, and add on your duct tape. Now with your edges, you're going to add Mod Podge, but with this, you're going to fold it in like you're creating a present. So crease it down on both sides and then fold it up. Make sure that you fold that side up and crease it as best you can, and then you're going to add on your duct tape. Repeat those steps on the other side. I have to tell you, I love the way this turned out, and it's a great, inexpensive way to have a canvas print. I saw this gold vase on Pottery Barn's website with the peonies. I thought it was so gorgeous, and I thought, let's try to recreate it. So you're going to need a round glass vase. This one I have is from the thrift store. They do sell similar ones at Dollar Tree. It just kind of depends on what size you want. You could even get a larger size than this one. Now, if you look at the piece, it looks like it has some raised textured areas. So I wanted to try to recreate that. So I'm gonna be using spackling. And this is one of my techniques anytime I want something to kind of really grip on and create texture for me. In the inspo piece, you can see that there's not texture on the entire vase. So when I added the texture on, I put it sparingly around my vase. So it was just little pops of texture around the vase. I let that dry overnight. Then I came in with a new Krylon metallic paint, and I painted that with a combination of baking soda, because when you use baking soda, it helps the paint to grip on a little bit better. So I did one coat on the entire vase, let that dry, and I came back in and did another coat because the paint didn't completely cover my glass vase. Now from there, I wanted to add a little bit of texture to this piece. So I'm gonna be using some Rub and Buff colors, and I added that Rub and Buff to those raised areas and just sparingly around my vase. This gives a little bit of dimension so you just don't have one color. Now these peonies that I want to put in here, these I bought off of Amazon last year. They are so absolutely gorgeous. I actually have them in this color, and I have the blue ones. They're some of my favorite florals on Amazon. I will link them for you down below, but here's how this vase turned out. Have you ever had your own propagation station? Let me show you how to make it with Dollar Tree items. You're gonna wanna get 3 packs of the salt and pepper shakers that they sell at Dollar Tree for a total of 6. The other thing you're going to need is some sort of base. I went with this wood slice that they have at Dollar Tree. So I removed the tops of the salt and pepper shakers and laid them out to see how many I could fit on my wood piece. Next, I'm going to use E6000 to attach them all together. Then you're going to let these dry overnight. Now with my base, I added in the stain color Early American, and I just painted that on and wiped off any excess. So I wanted to raise this up and make it a pedestal style. So I have this silicone mold in my craft room, and I also had some Quikrete, and I thought I could make some bases from this silicone mold. So I'm gonna be using the Quikrete, and I'm gonna mix it with a little bit of water. I mix it up until it's a thick pudding consistency. Then I'm going to put the mixture into my silicone molds. Now I only need 4, but I'm gonna make 6 because I find that sometimes when I do stuff with Quikrete, some of it doesn't turn out great. So I like to make a few extras. I'm gonna place it in the silicone molds, and then I'm also going to shake that silicone mold, tapping it down on my table to get out any air bubbles that might be in the mold. And I'm just going to fill it up till it's level at the top. Let your Quikrete dry overnight. And then you can pop the silicone molds out. And then I'll use E6000 to put these little legs on the bottom of my wood piece. Your propagation station is almost ready. So I'm not an expert at propagating plants, but I did look up how to do it. This plant grows great, and so I thought this would be a perfect plant to try. Essentially what you're going to do, and I'll kind of show you down here. So on this right here, see where there's like a little dot right here, and then there's one here and here. This is a root system. So if you cut just a little bit below this root system and put that, it should grow roots so that you can propagate. So we'll just put these tiny little plants inside. Here's a spring wall decor idea that you can try. So you're going to need to pick up this table runner at Dollar Tree. It's in the plus section for $5. You're also going to need a pack of dowels from Dollar Tree. We're gonna make 2 wall hanging pieces out of this one table runner. So I figured out about how long that I wanted it to be. I'm gonna be wrapping the fabric around the dowel rod, so I needed to make it a little bit longer. So I placed down my dowel rod and then I made it just a few inches longer, used a Sharpie to kind of draw a straight line. So I'm gonna cut it out on the straight line. And then I'll take that piece and put it down at the other end, draw a Sharpie line and cut them so they're the exact same size. Using those Dollar Tree dowel rods, I'm gonna hot glue them and twist them around the top so that I have kind of a base for the top of my wall hanging. I did also want to add in some ribbon, so I had this satin ribbon. I'm going to cut it in half and then hot glue that to the back so I have something to hang these up with. Let that dry and then your wall hangings are ready to go. If you've made it this far in the video, thank you so much for watching. Comment the word of the day, which is craft. Let's make some coasters. You're gonna need 2 things. You're gonna need a pack of these Jenga tiles, and you're also going to need this cork that they sell at Dollar Tree. Take all of the Jenga pieces out of the box. You're going to create coasters by using a dark stained wood and a light stained wood, and I'm just gonna alternate them in 2 rows. Once you kind of figure out what you're going to use for your coasters, you want to get that cork piece and you're going to cut it down. It doesn't have to be precise, but just to make it so that you won't see it on the front side. Cut that square out. And then you're going to take the backing off the sticky, and then you'll add in a little bit of E6000 to that cork piece. Then you can place down all of your Jenga pieces. When you get to the end, if you have too much cork, you can always cut that off before you put on that last row. And then press these down really well and make sure that you kind of push them into the middle so that they all are nice and connected. That's gonna make it look so much better. Repeat these steps for your other 3 coasters. Let them dry overnight, and then you have some gorgeous coasters. I feel like every time I go to Dollar Tree, they are getting new planters. I love how many gorgeous ones we have this spring. Now, one of my favorite ones is this one. It comes in white and black, and it has a fluted finish on it. I think these both would look great in your house. I'm gonna be showing you how you can style the white one. Now, I'm gonna be adding in these florals. These are out right now at Dollar Tree as well, and all I'm gonna be doing is just putting them into this vase. I'll twist down the bottom of the stem and place them into my vase. The reason I'm not cutting the stems is so that I can reuse it in another vase later. And here's how they turned out. For this next DIY, you're gonna need one of these Dollar Tree bowls. You're also going to need a base. I'm gonna be using this clear glass container that I got at the thrift store, but you can find something similar at Dollar Tree. Start by using your smaller bowl on the bottom, and then you're gonna put E6000 on the base of it. Place your other bowl on top and let this dry completely. Next, you're gonna use some Quikrete. So you're gonna mix your Quikrete with a little bit of water. And what we're going to be doing is essentially painting on the Quikrete on this entire piece. So you want to have on gloves, and then you're literally just going to grab the Quikrete and smooth it around the outside of both of the glass bowl and the plastic bowl. We are trying to recreate this bowl that we saw on Pottery Barn's website. When I saw it, I knew that Quikrete would do the job. You're just gonna add Quikrete around both of the bowls, making sure that you completely cover any areas. So once you're done, go back through and see if you have any holes, add on additional Quikrete. And then really all you have to do is let this dry overnight. And then in the morning, you're gonna have a Pottery Barn style bowl. The last time I was shopping at Dollar Tree, I came across this decorative box and thought it would be perfect for a DIY. So I'm gonna remove the tassel that comes on this box, and then I wanted to paint the top. So I'm gonna be using a green sample paint that I have, and I'll just do one coat on the top of this box. Let that dry completely. The other thing that I picked up when I was at Dollar Tree was this cute stencil. I've never used one of these raised stencils and thought I would give it a try. So I pulled off the larger stencil and I put some white paint down on my table. I pressed the stencil into the paint and then I placed it onto the top of the box, and it looked really bad. So I thought, okay, let's try this again. And if you get to paint when you first put it on, if you just use a wet paper towel, you can erase what you just did. So that's what I did. I just pulled it off completely and started over. I thought I didn't use enough paint, so I used a little bit more paint, put the stencil back on, and it looked bad again. So again, I had to wipe it off with a paper towel, try it again. This time I just kept getting better and better, figuring out how much paint I actually needed to put on to make it work. So eventually, I think it was my third try, I put the stencil on and it looked great. So just keep that in mind. If you mess up a stencil when you're using paint, you can remove it right away. And a lot of times you don't get it right on the first try. Let it dry, and here's how this box turned out. One of my new favorite items out at Dollar Tree right now were these baskets. I think they're absolutely adorable. Now they are in the plus section. They're gonna be $3 and $5, but these would look so pretty sitting out in your home. Let me know down in the comments which of these DIYs was your favorite. I love knowing your opinion. And don't forget to download Angry Birds Dream Blast. And make sure you subscribe because I want to see you back here, and I'll see you in our next one. Bye.